Hello, my cat loving friends. This is Linda Hall, co-host of 19 Cats and Counting. And we are so excited.
We are.
We have been watching Pam Roussell from afar, and we've often said we'd like to talk to her. And then we worked with a couple of clients who just swore by her up and down and what she does with animal communication and holistic healing and feeding. And oh, we can't wait to get started. So we're going to take a break for this ad and we will be right back and get moving. Welcome back to 19 Cats and Counting. I am your co-host, Linda Hall, here with my lovely BFF, my blonde better half, and according to my husband, my work wife, Rita Reimers. How you doing, babe?
I'm here with Mr. Dexter, who is trying to knock over my microphone. Well, since the name of the show is 19 Cats and Counting, we're still counting backwards. Yeah, I lost another kitty, so we're down to 16, Cupcake. But it was definitely time. That whole litter, I had 4 from the same litter. 3 of them have passed. I just have 1 left. They were young when they passed, 12.
We need to talk to Pam about cancer.
We do.
Because nobody else has issues. So let's grab her.
Pam!
Hey, thank you for the bottom of our kitty loving hearts for joining us today. We really wanted to talk to you.
I know, we did.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for asking me to be here.
Oh, we want to learn and we want to share it with everybody else. So this is the opportunity to get both of those done all in the same sitting, right?
That we first heard about Pam from Two Crazy Cat Ladies, right?
Yes. And we kind of adore them and hang on their every word. So when they say we love somebody, we got to check that out. But you are a board certified holistic health practitioner.
Wow.
Bless you. In our behavior practice, we are not against medication. There are times you're going to need medication from your vet, but we always try to hit the holistic options, which often will take care of it before we need to put a cat on Prozac for the rest of its life, etc.
Yeah.
So we love what you're doing. Tell us the who, what, why, where, when, and how. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, who is that?
Yeah, have an interview with that cat.
Of course, for those of you who are listening on the podcast who cannot see, that is the most beautiful cat Pam is holding.
She's such a mess. Of course, why is she acting shy now?
Exactly. I can't be on camera. I'm hiding behind Mom. Exactly.
The camera.
It's so funny. No, that's my baby girl, Aylin. She's kind of become one of the faces of Perfectly Holistic because she's just so darn cute. And she's a handful sometimes.
Aren't they all?
We all have some of those. Yeah. We have some of those, especially considering that I have 12 cats in my home and Rita has 16. We have a couple of those.
Yeah.
I used to have 20. But no, I'm not.
God bless you.
Neither one of us can take in anymore. That's why we now run the nonprofit Cat Behavior Alliance so that we can, the hope is, build a forever sanctuary for the seniors and the other cats that often get overlooked.
Yeah,
I love that.
So tell us more about what you do.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I am so blessed to have found my life purpose a few years ago. I have a passion for holistic health for myself that came out of an injury that would not heal with conventional medicine. So I was forced to look outside of the box, so to speak, and found Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And what would have led me down a road to surgery, instead, I was healed in 8 weeks. And my acupuncturist said, "Oh, you don't need to come back." And I looked at her like, what? What doctor tells a patient they don't need to come back? It was so weird.
Right.
And I was so excited because I had my foot healed 100%. And so that just kind of opened a can of worms and started me on this journey of learning, okay, what else do I need to learn? That was really cool. That works. I got into naturopathy and ironically, not for myself initially, but for my cats, because the vet couldn't help them. And so, these chronic conditions, oh, we just need a drug. Oh, you're going to have to put them on, meds for the rest of their life. Oh, we don't know why this happens. It's called idiopathic. Oh, we don't know, and I was like, no, I'm seeing results over here with naturopathy and health and muscle testing. And I know that works. So I'm taking my cat over there. And sure enough, they figured out what the problem was.
Right.
They gave herbs or homeopathy or whatever that I used for that, and it worked. And I was like, holy cow, this is really cool. And so I just began to continue learning. And every time my cats presented me with an opportunity to learn, you know how they do that.
Oh, they do.
With an illness or whatever it is that's going on in their lives. It's like, oh, mom, you need to learn this lesson now.
Yes.
So there was just a constant, I had 6 cats at the time, so I had a lot of teachers. And so there's always something to learn and coming up. And so I just kept practicing putting into place what I had learned for myself and for the human world, and taking those same practices, applications, theories, philosophies, whatever, and applied them toward cats and got really, really great results. And so I was working full time in another industry, and one of my cats died unexpectedly after receiving a round of vaccines that were required for boarding that I was not happy to do. And, because I learned many years prior that you need to keep revaccinating cats over and over again.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the reasons he had some issues. But that is what prompted me or pushed me into a new way of thinking, and realizing that I could have a platform and teach other people what I've learned, and just share information and help them not make the same mistakes that I used to do. And just give them some tools. Give them tools in a toolkit that is outside of the proverbial box of conventional veterinary medicine. When those don't work anymore, what else is there? Because so many people have just felt helpless, and they're just like, I don't know what else to do. And they're resigning themselves to putting their cats on a lifetime of prednisolone and just masking a symptom, it's really just because they don't know. They don't know what they don't know.
Correct.
And that's one of my favorite expressions is you don't know what you don't know.
I say that all the time.
Yes.
You don't know what you don't know. And so you just take those opportunities and you go, okay, what can I learn from this? And not just, and it's very hard when it's your own cat, because we're cat moms. It's very personal. We have a lot of emotional investment here. And so it's very challenging for pet parents to kind of step back and be that objective observer
100%.
And being able to think things through without that emotional attachment. And I guess that's what I'm good at.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Bad, but my heart goes out to them, and I'll do everything for my clients. I mean, ask my, you've talked to my clients,
you are getting us right in the heart, because yes, we've said the same things when we talk to someone, sometimes before we've delivered a plan, sometimes after we've delivered the plan, but they haven't even implemented it yet. We've seen tears. We've seen people let out a sigh. It sounds like they've held their breath for 2 months. I actually get misty thinking about it. So I'm going to start it, but that is the huge, and we can attest to your efficacy, if nothing else, because we have spoken to a couple of your clients who have said, and I said, it's a sign, right? I said to Rita, it's a sign. When the second one hit us up, and she just, boy, she adores you, honey. She would be lost without you. This situation is beyond stressful, and she is ready to lose it. And you have been her guide and her rock in advising her. We have seen what you have done.
I wish I knew about you when Lovey was sick.
Yes. Yeah. There's so many things. And you hit a nerve with one. It's out there. I don't know if you've seen it, but we did a video review of the Two Crazy Cat Ladies Meow Mist.
Oh, we love that stuff.
I have an F5. Yeah, we live and die by that stuff for humans.
It's a mini
and
commercial,
right? I'm like, we have bottles everywhere. There's one in the kitchen.
Linda carries it in her purse. Okay,
I do.
It's good.
We went on vacation. My daughter got a hive. I was like, here. But my FIV cat Kismet broke out in some weird bumps all over the place. He was losing his mind, itching himself 24/7. Of
Oh.
course, the doctor, and I all respect to the vets, love my vets,
Mhm.
love them, but they didn't know what it was. They
Right.
just assumed it was an autoimmune response to something.
Right.
And the only answer they had was, you called it, steroids.
Yeah.
His liver is already not 100%. It's not dangerous, but it's not 100% from his FIV. And I didn't want to put that stress on him. And also, you can't take that forever
No.
on a whim, just because I thought, maybe it'll help a little. That $17 bottle cleared the problem up.
It's on sale for
completely.
15 something right now.
Yes. And it's natural. I mean, when you find something like that, you
Yeah.
don't have, right? That's why we did the review. And I was like, ladies, you fixed my cat.
No, Pam, I was reading about Snow Bear on your website, and
Yeah.
you said the same thing about the steroids and the liver issues.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be on a cat doesn't need to be on a steroid the rest of his life because it's immune suppressive. So he can't mount an immune response, a normal immune response when it's necessary, and it damages organs, including the liver. It's very toxic over time, and vets know this, but I just think they're just not educated, and it's not in their toolbox.
Right.
Exactly.
You know?
They're working with the tools
It's
they
not their
have.
wheelhouse. That they have to go seek out that kind of alternative education
Yes.
and
Yes.
continuing education. And you know, a lot of times I've had vets even say this to me before. It's because my client asked me about such and such product or such and such modality, and that made me go dig into it and learn about it, or they bought them the equipment to use on their cat. They said, but you have to go learn how to use it. I will buy it for you. And that's how they got them into something. And the vet's like, talk about, you know, that's like a big sign from the universe saying, you need to learn this.
Definitely. Yes.
It's nice that
the opportunity.
it's nice that they're sometimes open enough to take
Yeah.
that kind of advice, because
Yes.
sometimes they're not. I love
Yeah.
my veterinarian. He's awesome. But oftentimes his answer is just take it day by day, because he doesn't know what else to do.
They don't know.
That's
And
it.
I don't know everything, but what's interesting about what I do is I use muscle testing. If y'all are familiar with muscle
I've
testing.
actually had that done.
It's
Yes.
pretty-
That
pretty
is
cool.
bizarre.
So you tap into the body's innate wisdom through the body's own nervous system and ask the body questions, and you can find out where are the stressors, where are the blocks, what are the trapped emotions, what are the foods that are resonating as stressors, where's the sensitivity at, are there viruses that resonate, are there vaccines that resonate, and you can start to just narrow things down and figure out where's the root cause of whatever issue is going on. And then you muscle test to figure out, well, what does the body need to get back into balance? And a lot of times that is stop doing something that's contributing to the problem and continue things that are doing well and helping the problem. But we need to add a few little tools here and there, and, you know, to support systematically or systemically,
Yes.
Sure.
you know, for targeted support for a time. And let's just work, you know, it takes time for the body to heal.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't tell clients it's not a quick fix sometimes, but I will tell you what, on the emotional side of the energy clearing work that I do, they'll come home and they'll look at their cat, something will be different. And then they'll say, did you work on my cat? Just, you know, whatever. And I'll say, yeah. She goes, I could tell because he's different now. He's relaxed. Something was changed. They can see the changes almost immediately from just simple energetic clearing stuff.
Linda, you need to get her to work with Deadpool.
I was just thinking about, I have the world's biggest jerk of a cat that
oh no.
It's kind of like, you know, when you have that baby and you say it's lucky you're so cute because you barf on me every 5 seconds. Yeah, it's lucky he's a cat, because otherwise. But yeah, we, you know, we've seen, and when I first started, something was going wrong with my body. I knew this. Nobody knew what the problem was. And then things started happening. So they started treating the things. as we mentioned when we were talking, Rita brought it up. I don't normally talk about my colon, but I actually had my entire large intestine removed.
Oh, wow.
When we were talking to the two crazy cat ladies, we mentioned it briefly. And my small intestine is hooked up to the exit so that, yeah. Anyway, it's not without its problems, but at least it solved the fact that things could move. Moving forward, move forward, move forward. I get a spinal stimulator implanted in my back. Move forward, move forward, move forward. I'm on narcotics. I'm on, guess what? I have MS. I have gotten rid of, well, that thing still needs to be removed by back. And of course, my surgery cannot be undone, but I have gotten rid of all the narcotics and things that they gave me, and I'm working with it holistically. And there's so much more that I still want to learn, but I did go to a holistic practitioner at our health food store, and she held up these bottles and tested my muscles. And I'm an incredibly skeptical person. Okay. You cannot sell me a bridge or a lake or a swamp. You can't. I'm not that girl.
Unless there's a cat on it. If there's a cat on the bridge, you might buy it.
I'll pay all the money in the world. But yeah, she did the thing, and this, and she held these bottles with these things on it. And I'm thinking, this is redonkulous.
Is that what you do
It
for
works.
the cats, Pam? Is that what you do? Like that?
Well, since everything I do is remote, so I use a picture of the cat.
Mhm.
It's the same. Energy can't be limited. It's not restricted by time or distance. So the same image of the cat is the same energy that I can tap into as if that cat was sitting right in my lap.
Do you need a physical picture, or can you do it on the computer?
Oh, I can do it. I can use a picture online.
Really?
I can use a picture on the phone. This is really woo-woo that you're gonna laugh.
I love it.
I can think of the cat in my head and test.
That's amazing.
I just have to have the name of the picture in my head, because again, it's energy. It's all connected.
That's what we're starting. I mean, we're seeing proof. There's no denying it. We just don't know a lot about it, but we spoke to an animal communicator some time ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Leslie Nace, and she was good, and she gave us a meditation that we could do, where I am in my mind. I do it every night, and I pick one cat and I connect with them and send them love, and I feel it. I don't know. You can tell me I'm wrong, but I feel it.
No, it is. There is, because we're such tangible creatures, we tend to rely on our vision instead of our spirituality. Our spiritual eye is much broader and deeper and greater than our actual physical eyes. So we have to just learn to see what that's that spiritual eye, that heart-centered eye, instead of only what we can see in front of us, because it is so much more vast than what we can see.
Does what you do help with the most behavior issues in cats come from anxiety? So are there things you do to help lighten the anxiety in a cat, or things we can do every day so our cats are less anxious?
Good question.
I always go back to, why is there anxiety? Is it in a relationship? Is it hierarchy? Is it your pet parent is now working outside of the home all the time, and they were working in the home all the time? Has there been changes in the house? I have a new client that I just started working with, and the owner, she was rescued off of the street in they thought she was feral, but she was friendly. So it's apparent somebody owned her at one time.
Sure.
Because she was not your typical feral cat. And this person who picked her up recognized that she didn't belong out there. She was trying to fend for herself.
Yeah.
And so that person brought her all the way to her sister in Texas. And a year and a half later, she has these episodes. It looks like anxiety, separation, almost like a separation anxiety. She was describing it to me, and I said, it sounds like she may have abandonment issues, and so I was doing my evaluation on her and trying to find all the emotional blocks and things like that. Abandonment was the first thing that came up.
Yeah.
So I was able to actually identify and clear energetically an event, because that's something that I've been trained to do, is you can tap into and ask, can we clear an event that's holding her back, creating blocks from her well-being or whatever? And there was an event. So I was able to determine that it was a spiritual and a relationship related event between two pet parents and herself that happened about 18 months ago. And that's about the time that she was found. And the emotions that were attached to that were abandonment and sorrow and discarded and things like that. So yeah, she has abandonment issues. So when the mama went out of town for a few days and left her by herself overnight, she was just ripping her fur out and just lick and just, till she was bloody and stuff.
Self-soothing. Yeah.
And she had some she had some over vaccination issues as well that were contributing to something that looked like FHS.
Right.
So that's immune confusion and that's emotional trauma from abandonment. So I always try to go back to find the root cause of something,
Yes.
And if there's inter-house aggression, I mean, you guys are the experts,
Yes.
it could be from a feral cat that's outside waving his tail going,
Yes. We see that quite a bit.
You are right here by your front door, So
yes.
it's
there is a huge crossover. I mean, that's the first thing. What has changed in your household around the time this started? Did someone move in? Did someone move out? Did someone die? Did blah, 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 blah.
Even new furniture can do it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Intruder alert.
And a new baby.
A
new kitten, or even a cat passing. It shifts the family hierarchy in healthy cat households.
Seen that,
you see that. You see it within days. There's
my daughter's cats. When
like
my son-in-law passed. Oh, I'm sorry, just like
no, it's okay.
They, an ambulance came and took him away. And for 26 days, we wait while he's in the hospital. We're gonna go together, honey. While he's in the hospital in a coma. And we're just trying to run back over to Nikki's apartment and feed them, and they're not getting any attention. So, and Nikki starts staying here because actually we all had COVID at that time. So we're all here. So basically Dad disappeared. Mom just left. What the heck? And then after he passed, we brought one over. We tried, there's no room to separate him in. It was against everything I know from behavior school. But we had to do what we had to do. So we tried to bring one over and then one over. And then I said, I can't leave one alone. So we just brought two. We saw, especially Inky, that cat roamed the halls at night and cried.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah.
That's just heart-wrenching. And
Daddy never came home. So they don't understand why.
Where is he?
They feel like they were just discarded and abandoned and left. And didn't have the chance to say goodbye.
Right.
I know. And people don't realize how sensitive cats are.
Oh, they're so sensitive. They're
so insensitive, and they smell stress on the, if we're high
they
stress,
take it on.
Smell that cortisol on us, they take it on. They mirror their pet parents' ailments sometimes.
Yes.
They and sometimes they even develop ailments because they're trying to show their pet parent, hey, you have this problem. And the pet parent's unaware until one day they go to the doctor and they realize that they get the diagnosis and they're like, oh, that's funny because my cat has that too. And the cat's going, hello, I've been trying to tell you that.
No, I know. The one and only UTI I ever had, my cat Precious had one too. So I'm like, how, I mean, I don't even know how that's possible. It was very odd. Odd.
We know that stress and anxiety can bring on ailments. We know, no one will argue that stress and anxiety cause heart attacks and strokes. It can cause a myriad of issues beyond that.
Yeah.
And why would our cats be any different, right? And even the cats that don't appear to be grieving, my daughter tends to wear my son-in-law's shirts. She was wearing one yesterday that referred to her as the best cat dad ever. But she wears his shirts. And so she took it off, and cats can smell things. All four of her cats, she threw it on the floor. All four of her cats migrated.
They still
laid
smelled
on
them
that
there.
shirt.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was like, yeah, it's like, Inky was very obvious. Those of you watching the YouTube version are going to watch me ugly cry now. Even the ones that didn't show, Inky was very obvious in his grief, but even the other ones migrated to that shirt, and we realized this is more powerful than we knew.
They grieve
Well,
for each other too.
Yes, definitely.
that's true. And I've had a friend of mine who had a cat pass in his home. And it was like we don't even know why. It's like one day she seemed a little off. The next day she passed away, and he came home and there she is, and whatever. But then one of his other cats passed away that were brothers. One was and the one who was still living, he was trying to show him before he had to take him out, bury him or whatever. And the cat just kind of like ran off, and he's like, I can't believe he's so insensitive. This is his brother. And I'm like, cats grieve differently. Just because you think he's being aloof and indifferent doesn't mean that he's not grieving. He's just showing in a different way. And so I did my muscle testing and energy work and everything. And I was able to determine grief showed up as a big emotion for him. I said, see, you just didn't recognize it because it didn't look like what you thought it should look like.
Yes.
It's like what I went through with Sadie in Trouble, Linda.
Yeah.
In my book. My Sadie died. She was and it was sort of expected, but not at that time. She had ventral septal defect. She died. I came home and found her, and her best pal, Trouble, was hiding in the closet and won't come out. He must have been next to her when we think she had a heart attack. And he just was never the same after that. His whole personality changed.
Yeah.
He was brokenhearted till the day he died 5 years later.
That's so great. It's so heartbreaking, but it just goes to show you how sensitive they are and how what emotional creatures they really are.
Yes.
And they want to just be here to support us and love us and help carry our burdens.
Yes.
And it's just up to us to take those blinders off and just look at things through their eyes.
Yes.
What do we need to do to support them in a way that is meaningful to them?
Right.
Yes.
And understand them,
Yeah.
which is probably why you guys are so successful, because you do that so well.
Thank you. Yes, I hope. Thank you. I do. I can't say that I got the gift of being an animal communicator, but I am obsessed with cats and their body language and how they work. Most fascinating creatures on the planet. I dare you to argue with that one. And in learning, I have learned to watch their signals, their signs that you should back off, because they don't always just, growl or hiss. Maybe they're just licking their lips a little bit, or, so I'm feeling, and we do grasp, I think, the brevity of the emotional impact that they have. They're not what people sometimes assume they are. And so we often use analogies in our sessions to relate. Imagine if you were, dropped in a foreign country, what it couldn't speak language, whatever. Imagine if your family disappeared, whatever it is to fit to that, to help them to relate to what their cat's feeling.
Absolutely. There's always lessons to be learned.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. Linda likes to say cats teach consent too. So really everybody who has kids their kids should be raised with a cat, because they teach you. Is it okay to touch them? Is it not okay to touch them? Dogs are easy. They're like all over you all the time, but
they wear their hearts on their sleeves.
You have to seek permission from a cat.
Yes,
that's true.
Yeah, I said when I'm elected president of the United States, which I really don't want that job, but I will have a mandate that everyone must have a cat in their home, especially if they're raising children, because this is how to learn to pay attention to others and to read their signs and to respect their boundaries, and that they don't have to scream no or push you away in order for them to be saying no, and that you need to be aware of that. And if you can teach your children to read the cat, they can move that on to the humans in their lives, right?
Absolutely. Yes. It's just always great to raise pets with children.
Yes.
They're great teachers.
They really are.
It's a great way to teach responsibility and caring for, a living soul.
Yes, exactly.
A living soul that's just as important as ours.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. Rita, I'm sure we're at the 30, are we at the halfway point or past?
Shoot, we need to take a break.
Past,
oh my gosh. Let's take a little break and we'll be right back. Oh, Mark's going to kill me. And welcome back to 19 Cats and Counting. Linda and I could just spend all day speaking with Pam. Just fascinated by the work she does. Pam, I know you've seen a lot of different cases. What do you have a case that really stands out in your mind? Like something that was like the most miraculous turnaround that you've experienced with a cat?
Yes, actually, it's one of those random cases that came across to me from someone who found my site on the internet, and it happened to be Easter weekend
Mhm.
during the COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
He didn't know anything about muscle testing. He didn't know anything about what I did, but something that I guess I had an article about the rabies vaccine and dangers and vaccinosis and things like that. And he reached out to me. Basically, the story went like this. He and his wife volunteered at a shelter in their area that was forced to be closed because of COVID.
Oh.
And they had to farm out all their animals. But before they were able to farm out all the animals, they had to vaccinate all the animals. And
Mhm.
so he and his wife agreed to take this mama cat with 3 brand new baby kittens.
Oh.
And so, I mean, she had probably 3 weeks old, something. So
Oh my
little.
goodness.
Okay,
Teeny,
so
teeny.
they're little. And so the mama, they didn't know where she came from or whatever, and they didn't do titer testing. So she was given a round of vaccines before she was approved to be released.
Mhm.
The cat went lame,
Oh.
could not hold up her head,
Oh.
and had 3 baby kittens to take care of. And
Oh.
he and his wife were just beside themselves thinking, holy cow, what happened to my cat? They didn't even connect the dots. They
Mhm.
just, specifically, they knew something is really wrong, and they were afraid to call the shelter and take her back in because they thought they would put her down. And here she's got 3 kittens,
They may well have.
and they might have. And I said, hold on. At first, don't panic. And so I did my analysis, and I was like,
Okay, honey.
rabies vaccine is coming up. This is why. And when you go look at the research of vaccinosis, one of the things that is indicative of rabies vaccinosis is lameness.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that.
And so I didn't either, but I learned.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
What a way.
characteristics that are the energetics of the actual disease that can start to manifest. It doesn't mean they have the disease, but it can look like they have or look similar and characteristic to those energetics of the disease itself. And so I specifically said, okay, here's what we're going to do. And I gave him protocols. I sent him the remedies, and I said, this is what you're going to do. This is for how long. And trust me, just follow the plan. And, we worked on several different forms of supplementation and just the remedies and things like that for anti-vaccinosis. He would call me in a few days. He goes, wow, she's actually doing better. She's actually can hold her head up now, and she's trying to drag herself out of the bed.
Oh.
They were having to like hold her up and express her bladder for her.
Oh.
She could not. And so over the course of, I want to say it was like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks went by, and he would send me little updates. I'll tell you, that cat made a full recovery. And he sent me videos of her walking out in the yard. They got the kittens adopted, and they were adorable. Oh my God, beautiful. If I lived there, I said, I would have been a sucker at your house.
This is why I don't
I want
visit
your
refuge
kittens.
shelters, because
I want those babies. They were so cute. And so, yeah, and they kept her because he had such an investment in her after the ordeal that they went through. He goes, there's no way we can give her back, and we're not going to take her back to the shelter, and we're certainly not going to tell the vet what we did.
right?
I'm very lucky that
Just
my vet is in
get it.
agreement that those vaccines are not all necessary.
Yes, yes.
And they
They're
can
not.
cause more harm than good in some
They
cases.
can.
Exactly.
It was just such a moving testimony of the power of natural health
sure.
and natural healing and homeopathy. And when you find the root cause and you treat the root cause and how it can turn things around that quickly, it's a testimony to how the body can heal itself.
Oh, for sure.
So, he was like, I don't know how you did it, but I'm so grateful that I found you and you saved Mimi and her kitten.
That's right where we are. Like, we don't get it, but
I believe
we
in it.
see it. Exactly. I can't.
You don't get it, but you have to respect it.
Yes, if you flip the light switch and the light comes on, I don't understand how that happens, but I do believe in electricity because my lights are on, right?
The lights work. I know. That's why I love what I do, because I can help people have miracles in their lives and turn them. I get the cases that the vets are like, there's nothing more I can do for you. I don't know what else I can do for you.
Oh my gosh, I bet you could have helped Lovey Dash and Cupcake, all from the same litter, all died of cancer within 6 months of each other. I have one from that litter left, but she's semi-feral. If she gets sick, there's nothing I can do. I can't touch her.
Unless she gets sick enough that, exactly.
I should send you her photo and tell me what she's thinking.
Yeah, tell me what that was.
Yeah. I would say the two biggest causes of disease that I see in pets are improper diet, because improper diet can lead to the GI issues, the lymphoma, the cancer, and all the intestinal stuff. And then over vaccination.
Okay.
Those are by far the two biggest things. So, and those are big mountains, but if people can work on really improving the diet as close to species appropriate as you can, wet diet, high quality, that's the foundation of good health. If you have poor nutrition, you're going to have poor health. I mean, that's the same for people. We know that.
I agree. The biggest hurdle we face about nutrition, Pam, is vegetarians who want to feed their cats a vegetarian diet. That does not work.
It doesn't work. They're not biologically wired like that.
No, exactly.
You have to honor their biology.
Yes, exactly.
Honor the biology of the cat.
On that medical line, we have asked this question to every expert, every vet. We had Made by Nacho's vet on, we asked. I'm banking on you're going to answer the question, and it may be what you just said. It may already be answered.
Yeah.
Rita started a cats only pet sitting service. It ran successfully for over 17 years. I came on board as executive director. I was only on for, 3 or 4 years. Anyway, we would see from the time I started the occasional cat with cancer.
Right.
I had never, in the first, I don't know how many months of taking in these cats, I would call and get the information and names, age, blah, blah, blah. I had never heard of an asthma inhaler for a cat.
We had so many of them in LA. By the
time we closed, everybody had cancer and everybody was on an asthma inhaler and everybody was getting
and we all knew how to give them the inhaler. Yeah, we all knew.
And it was insane. One family, and oh my gosh, they loved their cats. They had 2 cats. The one got cancer and passed, and they went holistic and everything, but it was already there. It may have extended the life, it may have improved the life, but it was already there. They went and adopted a kitten. Hopefully the kitten's doing well.
I remember this.
We've since closed that and switched to behavior only, but the second cat then got cancer, and I just cried and cried. It was like, what in the world? Do they really both their kids, right? I mean, it wasn't the newbie, but it was the second one. They have to go through this again, Lord, really?
Don't you think some of that is the diet that mom has while she's carrying the kittens? Right, Pam?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
The bulk of our clients were in LA, and we often blamed the LA air. But we did have them in North and South Carolina too. So I'm gonna ask you, and I asked everybody else,
where's the asthma coming from?
What is happening?
Well, as you know, there is such a thing as toxic air. I mean, we all know that. Chemtrails. And if cats live outside, they're exposed to all of that. And that's a very sad but realistic thing. I had a cat just last week who tested for 3 heavy metals that were associated with chemtrails. And I have never in my career ever had a cat with heavy metals that were associated with chemtrails before. So that was like, wow, your area must be really sprayed heavily.
Right.
So that's kind of a wake up call for people. But what people don't realize is cats who, in some cats, there has been a link from over vaccination to asthma. Asthma is an autoimmune disease,
Mhm.
and over vaccination can lead to autoimmune issues. And I have 2 clients whose cats have asthma that were over vaccinated.
That makes sense.
None of
So
my cats
We've
have
never heard that
asthma,
answer before. That makes
and
sense.
I will publicly admit that after their kitten shots, we were done.
I had to
there's
stop
no
in the
reason not
middle
to be.
with my peanut. I had to stop. I actually, I was a volunteer for the rescue where I got him. So I was giving him, they were giving me the shots and I was giving them myself. And the second one, Peanut got so sick. I'm like, no, I don't want the third one. We're not. And my vet then agreed. No, no more for him.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so many, and there's environmental considerations that you have to think about these days, from heavy metal exposure to vaccine exposure to even things like glyphosate. Glyphosate is a horrible, horrible herbicide that they spray on so many of the crops in this country,
Wow.
and it trickles into the organic farms, and there's runoff in the streams, and it is in everybody's blood tissues. If you go if you have your blood tested for glyphosate, I guarantee you're going to find it in there.
I bet.
It's prevalent in our food supply. It's prevalent in our lawns, from the Roundup and the weed killers that we put in. Just we're surrounded by it. That stuff, that can damage your microbiome. We don't even really know all the extensive damage that stuff like environmental toxins can do to us. So, it could be household cleaners
Mhm.
present a big problem, because they're breathing all those chemicals in. They're closer to the floor. I don't know that there's just a one, that's more prevalent answer than another. When you look at collectively the toxic burden it puts on the cat's bodies,
Sure.
they're small little creatures compared to humans. Their bodies, their tipping point is going to show up faster than it probably would ours.
That
Definitely.
makes sense. And then so many people use scented cat litter. We always tell them don't do that. And then
Yeah.
they put those plugins.
Glade
As a cat
plugins.
sitter, I'd walk in and they'd have all these fragrant plugins. It made me sick. Imagine how the cats
Yeah.
felt.
Yeah, because they can't escape it.
Mm-mm.
And all of those little toxins and chemicals are getting into their lungs and into their tissues, and it starts to break down their microbiome, and that's their immune system. And if we don't have a strong, healthy gut, we don't have a strong, healthy body.
Oh my gosh.
Do you work with people too, in addition to animals?
I do.
Nice.
I do a specific modality called mind, body, spirit release. And so what people don't realize a lot of times is cellular imprints from negative traumas, negative experiences settle into our tissues, our organs, our glands, and they are imprinted and they are stored there. And we don't even realize it happens. And so when we have something negative happen to us, all of the physiological processes going on related to that experience are being recorded in our bodies. Hormones and neurotransmitters are involved. Limiting beliefs go through our head, and they get stored and they get stuck in us. So we can be triggered by, let's say the trauma is, come and gone and life is good again, but our brain, our bodies don't know that because it's happening on a subconscious level. And so whenever we're triggered by something again, all of those physiological responses start to happen again inside of us that we're not even aware of. And it like brings it all up again.
Is that why some people react more strongly to stress than others?
Oh, I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, because they're reliving it.
Sure.
The people that just can't let go of something, they just relive it and relive it and relive it, and they can't move past something. They are stuck in those cycles, and it's like I was reading a really good book called The The Energy Codes by Dr. Sue Morter. If you've never read it, go read it. It's awesome.
I'm writing it
Write
down.
that
as you
down.
said it. Yes, the
See?
energy code. Yes.
He talks about this, the conscious and the subconscious brain. We have the thalamus, which is the conscious, and the hypothalamus, which sits beneath that, is your subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an invisible trap door between the two of those. And so you're going on through life, and all of a sudden, you know, you're hit out of the blue with some horrible experience, like, you know, someone passing away unexpectedly, and you have all the grief and the trauma, whatever related to that, and your body is going into, you know, survival mode or struggle or
The fight or flight thing.
right. Yeah. And that trap door between the subconscious and the conscious closes. And so everything is being programmed at the subconscious level based on that experience. And so you move on, life is restored. You're, you know, it's like, okay, that experience, there's no more danger. I don't need to be, you know, afraid anymore or sad. I've moved on, but not in your subconscious mind, because there's no communication about that event because the trap door has been closed.
Mhm.
This makes perfect sense.
So
does.
so what I do is I use a technique called mind, body, spirit release, which identifies, it uses muscle testing to identify where are those blocks and what organs and glands and hormones and neurotransmitters might be affected, what body systems might be affected, what limiting beliefs did I tell myself because of that event, you know, what spiritual blocks might be there, are there relationship blocks, are there people involved, places involved. It pulls in stuff like the Chinese elements, the 5 Chinese elements that are related to all the body systems and the meridians in the body and the organs and glands and the emotions that are stored in those particular areas of the body. And it just identifies all of those things. And then when I go through and clear all that, it's just like, it just,
Wow. Because even if you think you don't think about something on a conscious level, obviously then your body and your subconscious are still holding it.
Every human
Yes.
being out there who has ever suffered at the hands of an abuser knows what it means
Hello.
to flinch when someone raises their hand too
I do.
fast. You know, and I was thinking of your Smokey. Rita picked up a
Oh,
stray cat when
yeah.
she was living in LA. I
oh,
love this cat. I love this cat. I love this cat. This
Smokey,
cat
I
is
still
the
have
best
him.
cat ever. Smokey never does anything wrong.
Yeah, he's
a Russian
perfect.
blue. He's perfection. She posted flyers. Somebody called her and said, look, I'm a neighbor. I'm not telling you whose it is. They keep kicking him out. So of course she kept him. He's made the move with her from LA to the Carolinas and is living with her now.
wow.
But one day, and I'm telling you, I stay at Rita's 2 weeks at a time. This cat is perfect. Can do no wrong. Okay. One day she had a friend visiting. She was putting on her shoes or taking them off. She dangled her shoelaces to play as we do. And Smokey freaked out and went flying under the bed, having a nervous
He
breakdown.
didn't come
and
out
stayed there
till the
for a
next
while.
day.
Wow.
And we said, the through was thrown at him. Somebody was kicking him with their shoes. Something connected it. But here
Yeah.
you are. We're all these years later. He's safe. That person is not here. The shoe was not just the sight of the shoelaces.
Yeah, we don't do that. We don't dangle shoelaces.
We take our shoes off
anymore.
outside your door
No.
and come in without them. But we don't even
No,
wear
it's true.
shoes in your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that
So
makes perfect sense
That's
at all
a
that.
great, that's a great
stays.
example of how it can even work with pets. So I do mind, body, spirit release with pets and people because they have the same ability to store all of those emotions in their body, just like we do.
It
This
makes
is
sense.
amazing.
Mhm.
You know,
There's
we've been
so much more
talking
we
so
wanna
long.
talk to you about, but we gotta go, and I
Well,
hate it.
I think we're going to end up splitting this into 2. So we'll talk to Mark. We might need to like do
That's a really good idea.
which
That's a really good
I don't mind
idea.
at all because Pam, you're so fascinating.
Oh, Pam.
Oh, thank
I
you.
want to book you for me and I want to book you for my cats.
We can always come back and chat more about cats.
Yes, I was gonna say we may need to do a
There's a
follow-up
lot
or
of-
part
there's a
2.
lot we
So
could talk about.
exactly. So should we go ahead and wrap this one up?
Sure, but I want to ask Pam first, any last
Yeah.
words of wisdom for us and for our audience? And of course, let them know how they can find you.
You know, my best advice for people who want to start implementing, you know, better care for their cats, you know, it's easy to get overwhelmed because there's so many things we could do, but I say start with one thing.
Mhm.
Just do one thing. You know, if that's having a better diet, if that's more one-on-one environmental enrichment time, you know, whatever that might be, if it's a supplement, you know, everybody's cat's different. So you have to just follow your heart and know that you're doing the very best you can with what you have.
Right.
And you can't beat yourself up, you know. The reality is we're not all millionaires and we can't afford to just, you know, do whatever. So do whatever the best you can do on your budget with the best amount of time, giving your cat the best, because I guarantee you at the end of the day, when they're passing, they're not sitting there looking at you like, lady, I wish you had done more for me when I was da da da. They're just looking at you with love and gratitude that they were in your life. And when they pass over and transition, they're still going to be in your life.
Of course.
They're just going to be on the other side, and you can still talk to them, and they're still with you, you know, and they're not hating any decision that you made for them. And, you know that you just did your best. You have to learn those lessons.
That's true.
Just learn the lessons, you know, they are teachers.
I'm gonna
Thank you
trip
for that.
that
was
trip
probably
out of
my
that and
fault.
post it everywhere, because that was probably the most poignant, eloquent thing you could have said to everybody who loves
That's true.
anyone, cat or human alike. So
So-
yeah,
People can find you at PURRfectlyholistic.com. That's PURR holistic.com.
Yeah, 3
And
R's.
3 R's, 3 R's.
Three
Yeah.
R's. We will make sure to post the
Or.
link underneath the video so people can find you easily. And I encourage you to go in and read the stories on Pam's website, read her blog, read everything, and, you know, book a session with her if you need some extra help with your kitty or yourself.
Right. I have an online store that's dedicated to cats too. It's, you know, there's services, there's natural, holistic supplements, remedies, things like that. And then, you know, just some cat stuff like furniture and fun,
Yeah,
fun
toys,
stuff.
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff
that's
too.
important too.
But it's really, it's dedicated to cats because cats don't get enough exposure. They don't have
They don't.
enough cred in
Yeah,
this world. You know, it's a dog's
100%.
world. That's why we do what we do, because we have to give
Yes.
them a voice. You know, they
Yes.
deserve that. So
We love dogs
Yeah.
too, but they have a lot of people voicing for them.
They
Cats are the
do.
underdog, you know.
That's
they
true.
do,
Yeah.
they do. And cats are so misunderstood.
They
And
I
are.
agree.
You
I
know,
agree. Yes,
they deserve all the
I
attention.
have a dog and 12 cats in my house. It's very obvious the differences between them.
Her dog stands in a litter
Absolutely.
box.
Yeah, my dog is confused. She's a very confused Chihuahua. We may need you to just help her to understand her identity after
Right.
living with all these cats. I'm
Who am
joking, but
I?
I'm not. So that's another. Okay, so
think
I know we got to
You
wrap
need a
it up.
psychiatrist. Thank you so
Ugh.
much for being with us, Pam.
Oh, you're so welcome. And
You're
let's do it
welcome
again.
anytime.
It's fun. Absolutely. Okay.